All right, so by now, most of you guys have probably seen the AJ Ferrari stuff. So just to give you a little bit of background, so AJ Ferrari wrestles in the Soldier Salute. I believe the Soldier Salute is an open, mainly it's in Iowa. So at Carver Hawkeye, I believe, is where they had it. And he makes it to the finals. It's his first time wrestling since his national championship run as a true freshman. So he was 19, I believe, and he's 22 now. So he hasn't wrestled in 3 years. AJ has had a ton of issues off the mat that have kept him out of contention for that. So obviously COVID and some other things. I think there was really only two legitimate years where he was not able to compete that he would have been able to compete. I'm not 100% sure on that. Don't fact check me there. And if you do have any information, put it down in the comment section. But basically, AJ's had a string of legal allegations. He's had a string of he was in a car wreck at one point. He had a sexual assault allegation that I believe ended up there was nothing out of it. There might have been a break-in at some point. So bottom line, things have followed AJ throughout his career, and he's not new to controversy. Now, I used to really enjoy watching AJ wrestle. I'm glad that he's back on the mat. I think he's a very tough competitor, and I do think that whether he goes to the UFC or the WWE, he will be an unbelievable talent, especially if he goes into MMA. There's not a ton of wrestlers at his caliber at the weight classes he'll probably be at. I'm guessing he'll be an 85er or a 205 pounder. He's a big boy, and he brings a skill set that nobody else has. But he also brings an attitude that nobody else has. So AJ gets to the finals, and he's unattached for Iowa. So AJ has gone from Oklahoma State, got kicked off the team there, and goes over to their rival Iowa. And starts competing for them unattached in this tournament. He's got, you can see in the match if you watch it, he's got, not Dylan, Danis. I can't remember the Danis's name, but he was an Olympian for us. But he's coaching him. He's on staff at Iowa. I think maybe the RTC, if I'm not mistaken. And, kind of a tight match, 2-2 going into overtime. Not really a high-scoring match, nothing really to be said. He's going against his soon-to-be teammate, Nick Glazier, ranked, I believe, 24th in the country, is what I think Flo has him at right now. Probably should be a little bit higher. He wrestled real tight against AJ. Good, solid wrestler, not quite as accomplished as AJ, but kept it close. Did not look like the number 24 ranked going against the former national champion, and kept it close. Match goes to the end, and Glazer hits the mat. He's upset because AJ gets a takedown in OT. Really good takedown, picks him up, lifts him. You can kind of see that 700-pound deadlift or whatever it is, picks him up, takes him down, and Glazer hits the mat. And AJ shoves his head on the ground. So I don't know what was said. I don't know, what kind of chirping there was going back and forth. You don't get to see that in the videos. But he shoves his head in the ground, and Glazer gets up and goes after him, and I kind of gives him a shove. AJ throws, looked like a slap. They're saying it's a punch, but AJ has won the match and shoves his head on the ground. I don't know what the purpose of that was. I don't know why you would do that if you've already won the match. And then Glazer goes after him, and AJ slaps him, punches him. I don't really know what it was. It's kind of hard to tell from the video, but it's kind of hard. Sorry, it's kind of hard to tell from the video, but he does that, initiates physical contact with him, and then this is one thing that drives me nuts. Glazer got up he got his head shoved. He got up to retaliate and starts chasing after AJ. AJ slaps him, punches him, I don't know, and Glazer just points at him. If you shove my head in the ground and I'm going to either get up and retaliate, it's good. He ended up winning because of it, because he got DQ'd. but I'm going to get up and retaliate. I'm not just going to point at you when you hit me again. And I think that's for most people. Like, you're already getting up. What are you looking for? Are you trying to get more out of him? Are you trying to fight back? Are you trying to like save face? Like, what are you doing? I would have like, honestly, as a person, it's like, he shoved your head in the ground. Like, I mean, I'm not advising this, but I personally would have rather seen him get up and punch him in the face. It's like, you shoved my head in the ground, I'm gonna punch you in the face. But the pointing thing, I don't know. I'm not a huge. It's like, are you going to fight or are you not? If you're not going to fight, then just walk back and take your loss. Take the head shove and take your loss too. If you are going to fight, don't point at him, punch him back. That's my personal opinion. I'm not advising anybody to do that, but that's what I would have rather have seen. Just as a coach and as a person, like, it's one or the other. It's either you're going to fight, which it looked like he was trying to, or you're going to take your loss and take the extra credit at the end. But you can't have it both ways. So the pointing thing, it is what it is. But as far as AJ, and I have no issues with Nick Glazier. I think he wrestled great. Probably a really good kid. And it's just, just pick one. If you're going to get up and get in the guy's face, be ready to fight, because AJ is somebody that is ready to fight. He's been in fights before. On the mat, he had an issue at the Bedlam duel his sophomore year. So there's controversies constantly going around with this kid. But as far as AJ is concerned, after that, he throws the slap, gets up, and gets disqualified. The match was already over, so AJ won the match. I don't know how they could disqualify him after the fact. Like, if they go to the parking lot after the match is over and start fighting, how can you say that, like, is he going to then lose the fight? Like, it's not like a drug test or something that, precedes the match that ended up contributing to the outcome. It's something that preceded the match, and I don't know. It's one of those weird things, like, what is the time limit when they're still on the mat? Like, how do they, it wasn't a scoring discrepancy. It was just he got DQ'd and now you've lost, but it was after time had ran out. So I don't know what the rule is. If anybody does have the rule, please, but I don't think AJ should have lost. I think he should have been disqualified for future competition based on what he did. And I also think Nick probably, I would have preferred to see him either walk to the center or actually, do what it looked like he was going to do, which is fight. Because, just taking that punch and then pointing at him, like, look what he did. I don't know. I'm not, that's, maybe that's the MMA fighter in me, but that's not something that I think I would have done. But he's a young kid, and he's probably got, he's got other things to think about than what I do. As far as AJ's concerned, it is unfortunate to see some of these things happen. Controversy continues to follow the kid. I personally, you want to flip off the crowd, you want to do all these things, that's fine, but don't have the issues off the mat as well. Because it just seems like if you want to play a character, that's one thing. If you want to be the character that you're playing, especially if it's a bad guy, that's a completely different thing. And it is going to catch up with you, and you are going to end up looking back in a lot of regret. And I just don't think that that's something that he wants. I don't think that that's something that the sport of wrestling wants. You could even hear the crowd booing him. Like, as far as they're concerned, he's an Oklahoma State guy. And, that same crowd will probably be on his team if he makes the lineup. But, yeah, it's a weird situation. It's interesting as a Christian. I'm not a huge fan of the flipping off and the controversy. If you're going to fight, you're going to fight, and let's duke it out. I mean, they're going to be teammates, so I'm sure that these two are going to have their fair share of scraps in the room. And hopefully they get their issues resolved, and hopefully the Brands brothers can figure something out with them. But, yeah, I think, he does claim to be a Christian, and that's something that, he should take pride in, and his example moving forward. I personally would like to see it a little bit different, but I'm not AJ. I'm not, his pastor. I'm not his his dad or his brothers or sisters, but I personally think that the conduct off the mat is something to be concerned with and something to be addressed for sure. So that's just my thoughts on it. Praying for the guy. I hope everything goes well. But yeah, would love to see a little bit less of this controversy. Hope you guys liked the video. If you did like the video, make sure you like it, subscribe to the channel, and let me know what you guys want to see next. If you like these kinds of commentaries, let me know. If you don't, you want me to keep my mouth shut and just give wrestling technique, let me know in the comment section below.